Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. We got about 7 minutes. And I actually got a play that I wanna share with you guys in this first game. Chicago Sky and the Minnesota Lynx game will be played in Chicago today. Like I said, it's a 1:00 start time game. Yeah, do me a favor, hit the like button for me if you can. I know I'm last minute with today's show, and I actually haven't even played this yet, but I was thinking about it a lot last night. I'm actually gonna play it, and then I'm gonna send it out to the members. So we are, because of short time frame, we're just gonna jump right into it for today. Yesterday, so first game up, we'll come back to Jackson and talk about that after the first game. Like I said, I haven't even bet this yet. I'm just looking for the best of the number. But as I talk through this game, let's go to my notes real quick. This Chicago and Minnesota game opened with the Chicago Sky getting 10.5 points at home. Then they're getting 11.5 points. The total was 161 yesterday, and it's actually come down a little bit, I think, to 161 now. And then you can see all the numbers, right? The Minnesota Lynx, the best team in the WNBA statistically, first in offensive rating, net rating, defensive rating, all that good stuff. Also played the slowest pace. And Chicago Sky aren't really that good at all if you look at the numbers here. However, Chicago has actually covered 7 straight games. They're 7-0 against the spread in their last 7 games. They're 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games. And for that reason, I think 11.5 is too many points for them to be getting at home here. One of the things I looked at, and I'm gonna actually bet this. I'm gonna send it out to the members right now. It's about 5 minutes until tip off. One of the things I looked at, and I'm actually gonna share my screen so you guys can see this as well. This kind of gave me a little bit of conviction here as well. So let's stop sharing for just a second and start sharing again over here. I think this should be right. Let me just double check. Minimize myself. All right, cool. So yeah, this is right? So this is a little bit of a letdown spot for the Minnesota Lynx, in my opinion here. So the query right here, you guys can't see the full thing because I'm kind of blocking the way a little bit, but I'll read it to you guys anyway. So this is saying that a team that they won and covered their last game as a road favorite, and now they're a double-digit road favorite again. It's a little bit of a letdown spot. You can see here they're 23-4 straight up, but only 9-18 against the spread, right? You can see, the last, what is this? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of the last 11 times these teams have not, covered the game. So I actually like this. I like this trend a lot. I mean, it gets better, right? You can see all the non-covers here. I think, just what Chicago's been able to do recently. I haven't made official play in the WNBA in quite a while, but I will be on the Chicago Sky in this spot. Plus 11.5 at Bet3 at DraftKings actually got the best number. Minus 105. So, you can get close to even. I will be on Chicago today. Chicago plus 11.5. I just played it, and I'm actually going to send it out right now. Minus 105 on DK. So giving you guys something that I played. I know the Minnesota Lynx are a really good team. I know that they won and didn't cover the last time that these two teams played, which was just a couple, about a week within the last week. And they were, at a significant rest disadvantage. They were playing on the second leg of a back-to-back. Angel Reese has been playing really, really good. I think, their ability to be able to shoot the 3-point shot. I just think 12 points is a tad bit too many. Not that Minnesota can't, absolutely clean anybody up. But that's the way I chose to play this game. And I just played that. It's about 5 minutes left until tip-off. I think this might be an ESPN game as well. But yeah, Chicago has the rest advantage. Also coming off a win against Dallas. I mentioned them being 8-2. I don't even think there's too much more to mention, man. Chicago, they were getting 14.5 points the other day. Minnesota, like I said, playing on the second leg of a back-to-back. Chicago was able to keep it within 5. Double-digit home dogs with the rest advantage cover 59.5%. I wrote that down yesterday in my notes. Said Chicago can keep this within the number. So that's what I played, man. That's what I played. What I don't like is their second straight. Sometimes their second straight home game can be a little bit of a fatigue spot, especially with them coming off a win against Dallas. But I think it can keep it going here today. As far as the total, I didn't really have anything on the total. A lot of the things I looked at said over. A lot of the things said under. This is an early start time game. Not really sure how that impacts the players, but I hope that you guys make some money if you end up betting this one as well. I told you guys what I ended up betting. I actually just made the bet and just shared it with the members. Let's see what comments we have here. I didn't look at the game from a player prop perspective either. I think if we look at the numbers real quick, I know Kayla McBride is like really struggling from the 3-point line. I do feel like she's been able to get the looks. It's almost like a Liz on the basketball on the rim. Watched her play the other day against the Sparks. She just got a bunch of open looks, just couldn't make any of them. I just want to check the Chicago Sky's 3-point defense. They are last in the WNBA guarding the 3-point shot on a full season, but last 5 games they're actually second, holding teams to about 29%. That's gonna be big, right? We know Minnesota is a team that loves to shoot mid-range and 3-point shots. Specifically, they're second in 3-point field goal percentage over the full season. Last 5 games they have slowed down just a little bit. 29.8% is what they're shooting. And I forgot to mention this for Minnesota, but it's also their 5th game in 8 nights. So just some things to kind of think about. Let's see what you guys are thinking here real quick before this game actually tips off. You still got a couple minutes if you want to put the bet in. James, the clock's ticking. Good morning, Algina. Appreciate you. Jalen says Chicago plus 12.5. I like it, Jalen. Let's cash it, man. What's up, Free Sauce? He said, let's talk about it. Good morning, Peasy. Appreciate you for tapping in. Manny says, crazy last minute show bet. Yeah, absolutely. Free Sauce says play Courtney Williams over or 20.5 points and assists. Money Meech says Sky should cover. I hope they do, man. I just bet them. I did bet them in this spot. Manny says I need to know what to take for Angel. I would take Angel Reese over her rebounds, right? We just saw this the other day. I know the game's about to start, but if you can still get a bet in real quick, we'll just head over to Outlier really quickly. Let's see. And then I'll go through the rest of the comments. And that's what, like, I didn't share what Jackson was on for today. Jackson's been cold too recently. Caitlin Clark did go over her 8.5 assists. Jackson like under. And Skylar Diggins didn't get to 17.5 points last night, mostly because she was in foul trouble early in the second quarter. She had to sit on the bench for an extended period of time, really couldn't get into a flow. But she did not get to 18 points last night either. Their game did stay under. But Angel Reese, right? If we look at Angel Reese rebound prop, I think Jackson likes it today. I mean, it's hard not to like Angel Reese rebounds, right? She did just have a game where she only had 11. This was the second leg of a back-to-back against Dallas. But I mean, look at the numbers here. Oh, and let me minimize myself so you guys can see this a little bit better. So look at the numbers here for Angel Reese, right? 6 straight overs, 1 under. She probably end up going back over today. It's 12.5. It is juiced at minus 132. But I think Angel dominates the boards. I think she's out there again. They just played, right? She had 17 boards in that game. I think this will be the 3rd matchup that they played so far this season. Yeah, there you go. Last 3 games. This might be her whole career, actually. 16, 19, and 17 boards today. Could not talk anybody off Angel Reese to go up and over her rebound prop today. 12.5 seems very, very doable for them to be at home today. That's what I would play. And then I think Jackson in the 2 plays for Jackson liked her over her 12.5 boards as well. Says she's been absolute force on the boards, consistently hitting the over on this line. She's also hit the over 80% of her last 5 games, averaging 15.4 rebounds and 70% over her last 10 games. And I should probably go to the actual Jackson screen. So let me just kind of all over the place here. Y'all just bear with me today. All right. So if we go back, here we go. All right. So now it says, so she's averaging 15.4 rebounds, 70% over her last 10 games, averaging 13.8 rebounds. So for the entire season, her average is 12.84 rebounds, which is already above the set line when facing the Minnesota Lynx this season. Reese is going over the line in 100% of her games. Just showed you guys that, pulling down 17 boards per game. Looking back at the last season, she was also 100% over. Just showed you guys that as well, averaging 17.5 board. The Minnesota Lynx defense against her position ranks 13th in the league, indicating that they're about average in defending against rebounds, which doesn't pose a significant threat to Angel Reese, strong rebounding form. And then this news narrative, it says Angel Reese is currently in the midst of one of her best stretches in the WNBA in her WNBA career, and her rebounding prowess has been a key factor. News reports highlight her dominant presence, noting that she's grabbed 15 boards or more in 6 of her last 7 games. The consistent high-level performance combined with her historical success against the Lynx make the over her rebound prop a very attractive play. Domers.com also suggests betting on Angel Reese over 12.5 rebounds at -130, indicating a positive edge on this pick. All right, so that's that game. I'm going to actually put the game on because I definitely want to see it, and then we'll talk through the second game real quick, and then I'm going to jump up off of here. But let me just put it on real quick first. All right. The second pick for Jackson. Jackson likes Kayla Thornton under her 14.5 points. It's kind of crazy. I think this number is kind of crazy to bet on Kayla Thornton under based on her volume. But it says, statistical breakdown. While Kayla Thornton recent over hit percentage has been relatively high, 60% of her last 5 games, 70% of her last 10, her season average of 15.05 points is just slightly above the 14.5 line. The Las Vegas Aces defense against her position ranks 11th, which is slightly better than average. More importantly, in her single matchup against the Aces in the 2024-2025 season, she was held significantly under the line, average only 3.33 points across 3 games, which I don't think no way they played 3 times already. Nothing just tripping. News narrative. Despite some recent strong scoring outings, there's a compelling case on her under for Kayla Thornton's points prop. Analytical models, such as those of Domers.com explicitly suggest betting on Kayla Thornton under 14.5 points, identifying a 5.3 edge at -113 odds. This indicates that while her recent form might suggest an over, the underlying analytics and matchup against the Aces point towards a struggle for her to reach this scoring total. The Aces are a formidable opponent, and their defense capabilities could limit Thornton's offensive output, aligning with the under projection. So Jackson likes under on Kayla Thornton, under 14.5 points. So those are the 2 looks for Jackson. As always, the link is in the description. Check Jackson out if you guys are interested. I'm going to go back through the comments real quick, and then we'll jump into the next game. Where was I at? Manny was talking about Angel Reese. Algina says she likes the under 161, and Elena Smith under 13.5 rebounds and assists. Okay. Elena Smith is like one of my favorite players in the WNBA. She goes so hard. I don't feel like it gets talked about enough. She's amazing. She's like top 5 for me. I just love watching her play, and she do all the dirty work. She set all the screens. She can knock down the 3-point shot. She rebounds. She go down there, get the boards. Like, I love Elena Smith. What up, DJ? He says, yo, Sky plus 11.5 for me. Angel Reese going for most improved player. A lot of people like Chicago today, man. I hope we all on the right side. Free Sauce says Chicago fifth defense against forwards in the W right now. Anna Smith under might be a good look, man, he says. Play feet under 30.5 points and rebounds. Okay. Sky on a 6-game ATS win streak. I think it's 7 games, Tyrese. Ryan says Chicago plus 11.5. Let's get it. Me says he got 12.5 minus 125. Dom says first half under 82.5. Both of these teams have been brutal to start their last 5 games. I'm staying off the totals, but I'm going to wish you the best of success, Dom. I really, really am. It's an early start time game, so it makes sense. Definitely makes sense. Let's see. Peasy says Sky plus 11.5 as well. Markel, what's going on, bro? Hope all is well with you. Says Courtney Williams double. And what up, Chris? He says, I don't bet the females hardly, but it's 2 games, so why not? And I agree with that. I do agree with that. Teresa says he played over. G421 says thinking Sky 2. Link's been giving it up. Minnesota could still be tired. They're fading in the 4th quarter. Last game may continue. Yeah, they got out to that big lead too, though. Come on, Rachel Branham, knock that 3-pointer down. Here's the thing, right? This is what you notice. I'm pretty sure most people watch the games, but if you watch the games, one thing you notice about the Minnesota Lynx is they're a jump shot shooting team, right? Like, yeah, they set a lot of high ball screens. They like to go off those ball screens and get into the paint and kick out. They play kind of like the Indiana Pacers almost. They love to shoot a bunch of threes, but they can go on droughts where their threes aren't falling. And if those threes aren't falling, then they got to rely heavily on their defenses. This is why I stayed away from the total, because the Lynx can absolutely win with defense. They can absolutely lock you up, but they can also win with offense, right? If their 3-point shots are falling, I like that. It's a couple things that I like on the intent from the intangible side for Chicago in this game. One, they've really cut down their turnovers. I forgot to mention this in the handicap, but they turn the ball over a little bit more than any team in the WNBA. I love it, Ariel Atkins. Let me get another one. But the Chicago Sky, I think, are 5th in protecting the basketball over the last 5 games. That should bode well for them here in this spot. I don't like the layup by Alana Smith, but that should bode well for, this team throughout the longevity of the game. The other thing was the 3-point defense that we already talked about. So 2 says I got Sky on the money line. Okay, a little risky, a little too risky for me, but I like it. What's up, Timeout Sports? And Brian says Golden State first half. We'll talk about that in just a second. All right, that's the first game. Let's go through the next one. Valkyries and the Aces. This line is about, I think, 1.5 right now in favor of the Aces. I do see a 2 as well. So it opened last night with the Aces laying 1.5. Okay, Ariel Atkins, get in your bag. And then I saw this flip last night, right? So I'm handicapping the game yesterday evening, and I'm looking at it, and in my opinion, it wasn't a lot to like at all. But I saw this flip to the Valkyries actually laying a point, and I was like, that's interesting. I wonder if it's flipped because Asia Wilson is going to be out. But I checked the injury report. I didn't see anything about Asia Wilson. Y'all let me know if y'all can find anything. I didn't see anything about Asia Wilson potentially not being in the game or her actually playing. She's currently listed as questionable for this game. And then Cheyenne Parker-Tyus, of course, is still out. And then the Golden State's pretty much going to be at full strength. So we start looking into the game a little bit deeper, right? It's a terrible spot for the Aces. I kind of want to play Golden State. I don't really trust Golden State on the road. I know that they just got a big win. Could be a little bit of a flat spot. So we talk about Golden State first, right? They're only 3-6 straight up on the road. So do I want to lay points with them? No. I think if you want them as a dog, right? They've been really, really good in this role as a dog, whether at home or on the road. They're only 4-5 straight up on the road as well. This is the last game of a 4-game road trip for them. Their only win on this road trip came in that last game against the Indiana Fever. They have a 1-day rest advantage as well, because Golden State was all the way in D.C., right? We got to remember that. Golden State was all the way in D.C. Now they travel all the way back to the West Coast. So they're losing a couple time zones. Also, an early start time game as well. They're playing at 4 o'clock. Their bodies are not, adjusted to playing at 4 o'clock, specifically at the crib. There's a lot of things that say Golden State could get the job done in this game. The Aces, on the other hand, 5-4 straight up at home. They're just 3-6 against the spread at the crib. You can see the full numbers. They're only 8-12 against the spread as well. Now, Caleb McBride want to hit all the 3-pointers. Anyway, only 8-12 for the full season. And on that road trip, they went 2-3 straight up, 3-2 against the spread as well. Golden State did smoke this Aces team when they played back on June the 7th. Yeah, Angel, get a bucket, Angel. 6-7. I'm sorry. On June the 7th, they did win as a 12.5 point home dog. Actually smoked the Aces in that spot, 95-68. I do remember them deploying this strategy where, they just double Asia, made everybody else work. Nobody else could go out there and score the basketball. That game did go over to 161.5. Aces don't play again until Wednesday, whereas Golden State does play again on Monday against the Phoenix Mercury in their first game back home. So the way I kind of see the game, and I talked about it, right? I don't want to bet the Aces. I think it's a terrible spot. Don't really trust the Valkyries as much. I hate the total in this game. I think 155 is about right. Both of these teams have really, really struggled. So we talk a little bit about the total. Golden State is 7-3 to the under in their last 10 games. Las Vegas has played in 5 straight unders. They're 8-2 to the under in their last 10 games as well. You can see their offensive rating has dropped. This Aces offense is 10th in the WNBA now. Defense is 9th, 8th in net rating. And we know the Valkyries going to play defense if they don't do anything else. They're 2nd in defensive rating on the full season. So Aces also 4-1 to the under with the rest disadvantage. And they are at the rest disadvantage in this game. But the more I start looking at those under trends, then I start finding some over trends. And I didn't like it, especially with the total being so low. 155, I feel like they can probably creep up and over this total, especially if we see the game play with pace. The other thing is do we have Asia Wilson? I can't bet the game if I don't know if Asia Wilson is going to play. That's just how I think about it, right? If she's going to play, I think you get a much better number with the Golden State Valkyries because this line will probably go up to maybe even 3. If Asia Wilson doesn't play, I think it'll probably come down to a pick. Maybe even the Valkyries land, half a point or 1 point. But I do think the Valkyries are the better team between these two teams, man. I do. I know the Aces actually put it together in back-to-back games, right? They beat the Connecticut Sun. after losing to the Indiana Fever. So they had that road trip, right? The first game they played against was the Phoenix Mercury, and they went to Phoenix and smoked Phoenix in Phoenix. Won that game as a dog, as a 6.5 point, 7-point dog. Then after that, they absolutely wet the bed against the Indiana Fever. They bounced back against Connecticut, blew Connecticut out, covered the spread, like 17 points. And then that first half against the Liberty, it really kind of showed me something, because even though Asia Wilson was, injured in that game, they actually fought hard and played with a lot of effort. Then they followed that up without Asia Wilson in DC against the Mystics. They also played with effort, probably should have even won that game. Just literally couldn't score the basketball in the last couple minutes. So I think you still get, a lot of energy and effort from this Aces team. I do kind of feel like the Valkyries are the better team. I don't really want to lay points with them on the road. So I guess if I had to play, it'd be Valkyries plus the points. I wrote also in my notes, this is the last thing I'll say before I go through the comments. I wrote also in my notes, home teams returning after a 5-game road trip. A road trip of 5 games cover 44% of the time. If they're favored, they cover just 39% of the time. That would also lead to, taking the Valkyries in this spot. This season, home favorites laying 1 possession or less. So these kind of toss-up games, they're just 2-5 straight up and against the spread. I think all that favors the Valkyries. The Valkyries are also 3-0 straight up and against the spread when they're playing against a team that they've already beaten this season. And I mentioned they already beat the Aces in Golden State. Aces are just 2-4 straight up and against the spread when they're facing a team that they've already lost to this season. So for whatever reason, if the Valkyries can beat you, the Valkyries can beat you. And if they can't beat you, they can't beat you, right? It's kind of apparent last game against the Fever, right? Fever came to Golden State. I think they were laying like 11 points and absolutely got blasted by the Valkyries. Then the Valkyries go on the road and they blast the Fever again. So, I mean, that kind of makes sense, right? 1-day rest advantage, both teams back on the West Coast. Valkyries got a little bit of a body clock adjustment, and it's a 4:00 start time game. So I want to go Valkyries in this game. That'll be the way that I lean. I'm not sure if I'll end up betting it. I'll see what happens with Golden State. I'll see what happens with the Asia Wilson news. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Freestyle says, liking Jackie Young over 8.5 rebounds and assists for second game. That just keeps cashing. It keeps cashing, but we'll see what happens with Asia Wilson, though. We shall see. There's over in 9 of 10 games and no Asia Wilson. Over in 9 of her last 10. I like it. What else y'all seeing in this game? Jalen says Golden State first half. They have been an absolute juggernaut at the crib, specifically in the first half. Let's see. Do I have Moneyball up? Because if so, I do want to show you guys that. If they let go of the rope, if they end up, wetting the bed, it's typically in the second half. The Golden State Valkyries are still an expansion team, still trying to get it right. All right, so let's go here. Today is not the 12th. The 11th. Today is 12th. All right, so if we go here, make sure I'm signed in. Back to WNBA. I wasn't even thinking we should have. I'm just thinking out loud right now. But I wasn't even thinking what we should have did was bet the Chicago Sky first half. Minnesota, for whatever reason, they cannot cover in the first half. They just do not cover most of the time in the first half. So to me, it made more sense to bet Chicago at the crib early. I didn't know. All right. So Golden State, to Jalen's point, right? First half for the Valkyries. Matter of fact, while we're here, let's look at the links. This is what I was telling you guys. Look at the links in the first half. 12, 6, and 2. I'm sorry, 6, 12, and 2. They just don't cover in the first half. If they're a road favorite, look at this. I don't know how I missed this. 1-7-1 against the spread, laying points in the first half. I think the only cover they had was in their last game, because I told you guys I liked them against the Sparks in the first half, and they finally covered. They was 0-6-1. I think, 0-6-1. Now they're 1-6-1. That's insane. Chicago doesn't really play that great as a home dog, though. Just 2-4. So we go to this next game, though. This is what Jalen was talking about. This first half number, right? So it's not highlighted here, but the Valkyries, you can see 12-2 and 5 right here in the first half. And if they're a road dog, 5-2 and 2 against the spread as well. So This is a team, they have more rest. You can see that right here, 5-1-1 against the spread. So this is a Valkyries team that does, take care of business and play with a lot of effort and energy early in the games. It's apparent in the trend. So that's also Moneyball if you guys are interested in checking that out. All right, let's keep going through, and then we'll get into a quick little recap. Jump off of here. Vegas not going to keep taking my money, Jalen says. G421 is Golden State over their team total, maybe? I think is what that means. Jalen says, what's the word, my guy? I ended up taking Jewel Lloyd under 12.5 points. Boy, I don't know what she'd be doing, Jamal. She'd be out there doing cardio, bro. Like, I actually was watching the last game against the Mystics, and I was kind of like hoping that we just get like a really good Jewel Lloyd game. We still have not got a good Jewel Lloyd game. I feel like all season. When I first started watching the W 2 weeks ago, let's go, Angel. When I first started watching the W 2 years ago, where Jewel Lloyd was like, they was calling her the Gold Mamba. And now she not even a snake. She's something you're not even afraid of. She's like a butterfly. man. Whatever she got going on, I hope she can overcome it, man. I like Jewel Lloyd a lot. I would only play her under 12.5 points too. I definitely understand it. And I'm right there with you. Tyler says ladder on Burton's assist. She had 12 last game, over 5.5. Last game is in the last game she played, or last time that these two teams played, Tyler? Let me know. PZ says I've lost so much money on the Aces this season. I can't bet the Aces right now either. But I think the Aces will turn it around though. Once they get healthy, I think I'm not saying they're gonna be great, but I think they'll be a little bit better. Prop says Aces haven't proved that they can be dominant with Jewel Lloyd, and I agree. Free Sauce says the fact that the Aces are under 500 at this point is wild to me. Look, it's right here. The proof is in the pudding, man. Look at their offensive rating. They are 10th. This has been like, I'm pretty sure we could go back 3 seasons. The Aces never this far into the season. We're a couple games before the All-Star break. We haven't seen this Aces team this bad offensively. Not that they're great defensively either, but like offensively, it's just like kind of crazy that they can't get going. They cannot get going. All right, my fault. I'm watching the game. I got to get off here. PZ says the money baller with the sauce. That's absolutely. Rachel Benham. Let's go, Chicago. All right. That's it, man. That's it for the show today. Recap: Chicago plus 12.5. That is already gone. I think Golden State. If Asia plays Golden State, I want them plus the points. I kind of feel like she's not going to play, but I'm not 100% sure. So it'd be Golden State plus the 0.5 point in the first half as well. I like that look by Jalen. And they just keep covering. Also like that they have the rest advantage. I also like this is the early start time game for the Aces. It's also the Aces' first game back home. And like I said, I didn't really look too much into props. So hopefully you guys joined at the beginning of the stream. The members, hopefully you got a chance to put the play in. If we cash it, if not, it's all good. You didn't miss anything. But I like what we were saying from Chicago so far. As always, if I add anything, the link is in the description of the video. You guys can check out the plays if you want to support the channel or get the plays sent directly to your email. All of the resources that I use, Jackson, Moneyballer, Outlier, OzJam, are all linked in the description of this video. As always, enjoy your Saturday, man. Hit the like button for me if you can. Like. Subscribe to the channel. Turn the notification bell on. We'll be back tomorrow. There are 4 games in the W, and the line's already out. Enjoy your Saturday, man. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Come on.